I was at home, keys in pocket, poised to start my silver Audi R8, a reflection of my new world. The sirens sounded. 4 police cars surrounded my home. Red and blue lights lit up my driveway like a crime scene. Guns drawn. Shouts commanded. I stood still. My name is Nathan Carter. I'm 35, a freelance architect, recently divorced, and newly arrived in Pinewood Grove, a sleepy North Texas suburb. I had come to begin again, but that Saturday morning was the first chapter of a 3-month nightmare. The chaos began with a neon yellow jogging suit clad woman, wild eyes, waving papers, and screaming like a maestro conducting an orchestra of madness. "Arrest him!" she yelled. "That is my car. He is a thief." She was Linda Grayson, 48, notorious neighborhood fixture and resident gossip in her vintage tracksuits and combative snooping. She claimed to have bought my Audi R8 for $85,000 cash from a fellow named Mark Thompson on Craigslist. She had a inked-up wire transfer, texts, and a phony bill of sale to prove it. I stood transfixed, coffee mug trembling, as officers approached. I gave them my registration, insurance, and dealership papers calmly. That car was mine. I'd owned it 2 months. It was my post-divorce treat. Where some men get inked, I'd gotten German engineering. Now I wished I'd laid out that cash on a beige Honda. Detective Michael Torres arrived. He saw Linda and sighed. Not her again. It turned out she'd made 911 calls 8 times that month, but she persisted. "This man stole my car and this garage. He's in on it with Mark." Even she claimed the HOA bylaws made my own garage common property. Neighbors watched in stunned silence. Some laughed, others taped. One, Mrs. Evelyn Harper, 72, yelled from her porch, "Be careful, young man. She's run off 3 families already." When the police shoved me out, Linda came forward and spat, "This isn't over. This car belongs to me." That night, a letter slipped under my door. A photo of me asleep, taken through my window, was enclosed with a chilling message. "Nice car, nice house. They'll be mine soon." By morning, there were 15 red envelopes on my porch. HOA violations, $500 for a too shiny car, $750 for a too loud garage door, $1,000 for an unapproved silver paint job, even a $300 fine for sneezing too hard in front of the garage. Sense was consumed by rage. I overkicked the HOA sign in my yard. A miscalculation. Getting deeper, I found Linda had rewritten Pinewood Grove's HOA bylaws after her husband passed away 5 years ago, turned them into a tyrant's toolbox. Each lawyer I contacted stood down. One leaned over and whispered, "She has dirt on people." Then Ethan Brooks, 28, the introverted next-door neighbor and investigative reporter. He took me through 3 a.m. photographs of Linda wearing a bathrobe, taking notes, photographing cars. "She's done this for years," he said. "I've been charged $10,000 in subversive journalism fines, but I'm writing a story to take her down." Together, we researched. One night, scanning Linda's window, we discovered her war room, walls plastered with photographs, papers, and red string connecting neighbors like the ramblings of a conspiracy theorist. My face was photographed in at least 50 shots. And then one day, a tow truck began towing my Audi. Linda brandished mock lien papers. "This car is under HOA seizure," she declared. Even the tow truck driver hesitated. "She's done this before," he growled. Detective Torres appeared, verified that liens were phony, but Linda refused to quit. "Mark Thompson promised it to me." That's when Mrs. Harper stepped in. She brought me to her home, an archive of papers and a solitary photo. Linda's late husband, Thomas, alongside a silver Audi R8. He died 5 years ago today, January 15th, 2020. No brake lights, no skid marks, just a 90-mile-per-hour collision and a rushed cremation. She's been obsessed ever since, Harper explained to me. She is convinced that Carr was to blame for everything. At 2:47 a.m., Linda's son Jason Grayson knocked on my door, blood on his shirt. I escaped through a window, he gasped. My mother killed my father, and you're next. Jason, a lawyer, presented me with a flash drive, the financials, forged documents, HOA embezzlement, over $400,000 stolen. He also verified what we suspected. Linda had cheated 3 other families out of cars, just like mine. The Lopezes, Bakers, and Reeds, all displaced, broke, or worse. We concocted a plan. I'd entice Linda. Ethan would write the expose. Jason would go to court. But Linda was cunning. She threw Jason's belongings onto my lawn, screaming, "You're just like your father, traitor!" That night, my Audi was vandalized. "Get out or burn," spray painted in blood red. Mrs. Harper saw Linda directing 2 teens with gas cans. My security cameras had been blacked out. Arson charges didn't stick. Not enough proof. Linda waged psychological warfare, hacking into my email, dispatching pseudo-profiles to my clients, even using protesters to scream outside my home. Then, everything changed. At a sold-out emergency HOA meeting, 200 citizens appeared. Linda called for my expulsion. Then the Lopez family stood up. "You ruined us." The Bakers. "You got my husband jailed." The Reeds. "You stole our daughter's college funds." Jason arrived, briefcase under arm. He had irrefutable evidence, embezzlement, dishonesty, video testimony, even a recorded confession. Carnage broke out. Ethan ran his narrative, Linda's obsession, her husband's sudden death, and an ominous sequence of car-based delusions. The FBI swooped on her residence days later, but Linda was already away. Then, the final call. My phone rang at 2:47 a.m. A small girl's voice whispered, "Daddy? Mommy says you're in the car again. We'll be a family." Jason was disturbed. She never did have a daughter. She had a baby, Lily, at 7 months. Then Dad. She thinks the Audi is haunting her, that he is it. 3 days after, I found her in my bedroom, in a tattered wedding dress, corpse's pale skin. "Good morning, Thomas," she recited, eyes hollow. "Lily missed you?" She carried a knife. A baby monitor screeched in the distance. I secretly taped her as she confessed, drugging her husband, embezzling HOA funds, faking the arson attempt. Police, having been alerted by Mrs. Harper, busted into the house just in time. Linda smiled as they dragged her away. "I'll see you soon, Thomas." Waiting for trial, she tried to hire a hitman, a disguised FBI agent. She paid bail, returned to my garage with gas cans and a Zippo. "If I can't have Thomas," she hissed, "we all burn." Neighbors screamed. Sprinklers went off. A butane torch blazed. I leaped on her. SWAT held her down. My Audi burned, but I was free. Linda Grayson received 25 years for murder, arson, fraud, and attempted murder. The HOA dissolved. 47 families were repaid over $1.2 million in restitution. I spent the insurance money on a beige Honda. No more flashy symbols. Mrs. Harper later admitted, "You were bait, but you were the first to fight back." Jason now leads the HOA, ethically. Ethan's expose won awards. Pinewood Grove rebuilt, united, healed, and then one day a new neighbor arrived, pulled a silver Audi R8 into his driveway. Jason shook his hand, returned a disarming grin, then moved in close. "Watch yourself," he said. This neighborhood doesn't welcome silver Audis. Because we learned the hard way here in Pinewood Grove, write it all down, stand together when madness approaches, and most importantly, never underestimate obsession.